2 weeks ago, a fellow student of ours, Amani, made the statement that incinerators have a far more negative impact on society than any other renewable energy source. She supported this claim, saying incinerators cause pollution and influence waste, that incinerators are financially unreliable, and that communities are mainly affected by these incinerators. My name is Jose Romani, and I'm here to show you that each of those claims have their limits, and that incinerators can have positive impacts on society, and there are other renewable energy sources that have far worse consequences. So the first supporting claim shows that incinerators cause pollution and influence waste. I'm here to show you that incinerators do not produce the most pollution, and that there are other energy sources that cause more. Let me get one thing straight though. My opponent did say that incinerators cause emissions. She did say that in 2009 a new level for carbon dioxide emissions was set to a new record. But that doesn't mean, correlation isn't causation. That doesn't mean that incinerators single-handedly caused that new level. There are other methods that cause it. There's automobiles, traffic, and even solar panel manufacturing. And it's stated from Laura Jill Martinez of the UN Industrial Development Organization that solar panels can produce very dangerous chemicals and toxins that can mutate DNA. One example is sulfur hexafluoride. Intergovernmental panel on climate change showed that sulfur hexafluoride is the most potent greenhouse gas there is, being almost 23,000 times worse than carbon dioxide. So already we have a renewable energy source that can be more deadly than incinerators. The second claim shows that incinerators are financially unreliable. I'm here to show you that they're more reliable and more effective than other energy sources. My opponent did say that incinerators, the tipping fees, were more expensive than landfill tipping fees. But landfills aren't renewable energy sources. They don't really have a hat in this race. So really that is a bit more irrelevant. And it also shows that incinerators, they do two things. They not only reduce waste, but they also provide energy. And not only that, but there are other renewable energy sources that are more expensive. My opponent got information from the U.S. Energy Information Administration in 2010. I got information from it in 2016. And it shows that the biomass production, incineration, the cost compared to the solar energy production, it showed that solar energy production was 1.25 times more expensive. And in terms of reliability, people are constantly producing trash, or constantly producing waste. You can see a filled trash can just outside of this room. That's just more fuel for the renewable energy source that is incineration. But there are other sources that aren't as consistent, like wind turbines. There are areas around where the wind isn't as consistent, so they have to go to rural areas, places distant from the cities where they need the electricity. The Department of Energy even said themselves that there's an unreliability of wind patterns, and that you need long wires that have more costs just to transfer that energy. The third claim shows that communities are the ones mainly affected by the use of incinerators. I'm here to show you that other methods of waste management are consequential as well. My opponent stated the city of Boulder used over 86,000 tons to produce only 1.3% of their electrical needs. While incinerators did only produce 1.3% of the electrical needs, they also got rid of over 186,000 tons of waste. It was basically just two birds with one stone. They produced energy, something that landfills and recycling industries can't do, and they got rid of waste, something that wind turbines and solar panels can't do. And though recycling can produce jobs, they do have their own costs. According to Tinberg Institute, an accredited European graduate research institution, it showed the costs of recycling industry and the incineration industry. And it showed that the collection costs of recycling was 7 times more expensive, and that the treatment costs were 43 times more expensive. It just shows you that the incineration industry is a bit more cost effective. And according to the 2016 International Renewable Energy Agency, in an annual survey, it showed 800,000 jobs were given from the incineration industry. So it's really just the best of both worlds. So in conclusion, the incineration process to renew energy is both effective and is more effective than some of the other industries, some of the other renewable energy sources, such as solar energy and wind turbines. And the fact that it also reduces waste, it gives it two purposes. making it more efficient and more impressive. Thank you.
All right, Jose, I thought you made a good counterclaim on most of the argument, making advocacy for incineration as an energy source and as a waste disposal source. I think that the argument that you present in 2 or 3 places that says we get the added benefit, forget the energy comparisons, we also get the added benefit of eliminating the waste. I think that's a good point, especially if the advocate didn't really talk about that as a potential benefit or maybe a drawback. I just remember the energy issues and the pollution issues that were being discussed. The pollution issues, you basically suggest that there are other sources of pollution that are likely to be more significant, so you're diminishing the claim of significance that the advocate's presenting. Doesn't really deny that there could be potential harms. I'm not exactly sure. The closest you come to making these comparisons work has to do with how much of the one substance is going to be released or is used. And I think that like you had the one thing about the solar panels, the material that's there, that it has, what did you say, 23,000 times a greater impact than CO2, but how often does that get released in the atmosphere, whereas there's inevitably CO2 released every time there's incineration? I think that there's a risk there, but it's not a quantified risk, and so even though you've got that estimate about how much more dangerous it is, we don't have any idea about whether or not that actually gets released and how often that occurs. So if it happens once compared to 100,000 releases of CO2 on a daily basis, then proportionality would suggest that it's not that important. We don't have any of that data, so it's a good press. I like the argument. I just wish that there was more information that you could use to make it work. On the second point, I like the cost comparison on solar. I thought that worked pretty well. The waste outcome is a good counterclaim that you have there. And the idea that alternative energies are perhaps unreliable, you might need to talk about those a little bit more, because I didn't really think that your evidence on that was very complete. On the third point, we're back to the issue of getting rid of the waste, which I think is a good benefit, like we talked about, and the contrast to recycling, which I guess is probably the best alternative to incineration that we have. And that one you did have a clear cost comparison on, and I understood that one almost immediately. The jobs argument is more like a disadvantage argument that would be applicable if we were making a policy argument, but that there is some advantage to this, I guess, is something that weighs on that side if we're making a comparison. All right, thank you.